60% of millennials earning over $100,000 say that they are living paycheck to paycheck. How do you make that much money and still live paycheck to paycheck? To be honest, that is not surprising. It's far easier to spend $100,000 than to earn, especially with the high inflation we have now. $100,000 doesn't seem like a fortune, and it's not. But for most people, earning their first $100,000 is a far-fetched dream, leave alone saving $100,000. $100,000 in the bank would give you the confidence not to worry when the bill collectors knock on the door. These are two different things. But the reality is that $100,000 isn't really a lot. With some persistence and dedication and access to the internet, it's a practical goal that is within most people's abilities. When I was in college, the idea of making $100,000 was something unimaginable. I was glad if I could just pay my bills, which were barely the minimum wage. But back then, they seemed like a fortune. Of course, I knew that it was possible, but I couldn't connect the dots between where I was back then and how to get to where I wanted. Even when I got into real estate, it seemed like I needed to do the impossible to make that much. However, the truth is that it's far easier than most people believe. As long as you are on the right path, as long as you are dedicated, it's a matter of time before you get there. So here are the 7 rules that you need to follow to go from $0 to $100,000. Give this video a thumbs up and let's start with the first one. In the age of capitalism, time is money. But today it feels like we never have time for anything. But imagine for a moment if you could have one extra day every week to cook healthy meals, binge watch some good reality TV, or learn a new skill. Now, it's all possible with ClickUp, the productivity platform that will save you one day a week on work. Guaranteed. There are too many tools to track everything, too many apps, so we waste our time trying to be more productive. That's where ClickUp comes into the picture. One productivity tool for everything. With ClickUp, I can organize my tasks, projects, docs, goals, spreadsheets, and more. I can create a task, assign it to my designer, and set a deadline. Inside the task, I can add a description of the thumbnail and collaborate in real time with comments. Use code ProactiveThinker to get 15% off ClickUp's massive unlimited plan for a year, meaning you can start reclaiming your time for under $5 a month. Sign up today at clickup.com and use code ProactiveThinker. There are decades that nothing happens, and then there are weeks where decades happen. These are some of the wisest words I have ever heard. Since the housing crash of 2008, nothing really world-changing has happened. But 2022 is literally reshaping the world. Tech stocks crashed, crypto collapsed, and the world is on the brink of a hangar. The US global dominance is challenged by the invasion of Ukraine. The world is worried that China will attack Taiwan. Supply chains are disrupted across the globe. Inflation is skyrocketing. Oil prices are higher than ever, and we're still not yet out of the global pandemic. By the end of the year, we might be living in a completely different world. What matters most is that when huge changes take place, the wealth changes hands as well. And the challenge is to take advantage out of this wealth transition. Just take a look at how many crypto coins are going bankrupt. It is the best time to get into crypto since the storm is getting rid of your competitors. When everything is stable, starting a business is easier, but it's easier for everyone. That's why you face such a huge competition. That is why crises are the perfect opportunity, because they create chaos and the world changes in a glimpse of an eye, especially when the status quo changes. Number 2. He will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. When motivation hits, you want to do everything. Start a business, start investing, trading, and build connections. The only problem is that your resources are limited. If you don't know how to pick your fights, whatever you do, you will fail. Especially if you are at the beginning of your financial journey. Pick your fights carefully. Pick one thing that you are more or less confident about and don't get distracted by anyone or anything. even the other opportunities that are more attractive. Sometimes you need to swallow your ego to avoid getting distracted or giving up something to stay focused. It's part of the journey to pick the right challenges at the right time. The moment you try to become the jack of all trades, you become the master of none. Number 3. I know of nothing more despicable and pathetic than a man who devotes all the hours of the waking day to the making of money for money's sake. Money is a great motivation, but the motivation disappears when you have enough of it. It might not look like that now if you're not making enough, but the moment you cross a line where you can live comfortably and save over 50% of your income, your motivation will begin to dwindle. And besides, the chase behind money is pointless since it's infinite. So the goal should be to build something that would benefit people. It would make your goal meaningful. It will give you a stronger reason to wake up in the morning. On top of this, the more people it is going to help, the more people will pay for it, the more money you're going to make. It's a cycle that's not just going to help you make your first $100,000, but rather go beyond. So stop focusing on making $100,000, but rather focus on how you can bring value to the table. The money is going to follow. Number 4. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. Here's why most people don't get rich. They graduate and keep looking for a job. They find a comfortable job where they're given everything they need for a comfortable life. In the beginning, they believe it's temporary, but then they get into a comfort zone where they will get afraid to take risks because they're afraid to lose what they already have. But the problem is that sometimes you have to give what you already have to get what is better. That doesn't mean you should quit your job and start a business, but don't get too comfortable. Don't be afraid to give up the comfortable life. You have to take some risks to move forward. Number 5. Don't let your preconceptions dictate your decisions. When you're a little kid, your mentality is shaped by your parents and school. As you grow up and become an adult, your friends start reshaping your mentality. So most of your ideas and beliefs do not necessarily reflect the reality. Even though they might sound logical, if you have grown up in a poor family where your parents kept telling you that getting good grades and climbing the career hierarchy is the only way out of poverty, that doesn't mean it's a fact. Look at everything with a fresh perspective. If you can talk to people who have achieved what you're aiming for, that will really open your mind. As Steve Jobs once said, everything around you that you call life was made by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it, you can influence it, you can build your own things that other people can use. Number 6. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and not to who someone else is today. As kids, our parents compare us to our peers. Look, your classmates get better grades. Your neighbor doesn't waste time playing video games. We grow up constantly watching how we get compared to everyone around us. No matter how much we improve, we look around and find someone who is better than us. What we realize too late in life is that there will always be someone who is better than you. Just take a look at the Forbes billionaires list that's always changing. Just recently, Bezos was leading the list, and now that title is held by Elon Musk. But Elon Musk tweets that Putin is significantly richer than him. However, Putin can't even leave Russia no matter how rich he is. So does that really count as real wealth? That's an extreme example, of course, but you get the point. Never compare yourself to others. The only person you can compare yourself is to whom you were yesterday. Did you hit the gym today? Good for you. You're slightly better than you were yesterday. Did you read an interesting book? You're slightly wiser today. That is the only way you grow, and that includes financially as well. Because by comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, you won't lose the motivation to keep moving forward. Number 7. The greatest danger you face is your mind growing soft and your eye getting dull. If there is one piece of advice you will take out of this video, then let it be this one. The path to $100,000 seems difficult, but with enough effort and dedication, anyone can do it. The real danger is to keep moving forward once you reach that goal or make enough money to pay all the bills. Your discipline will slowly vanish, your work ethic will grow soft, and your spendings will slowly rise. Your growth will stagnate, while your spendings will keep growing, which will bring you to the point where you will again start living paycheck to paycheck. So the challenge is to keep yourself disciplined even after you have achieved your financial goals.